Last night I went to see Sir Michael Caine being interviewed by Sharon Waxman. What I don't know what it is about Michael Caine that I love, but I have loved him for years, and he tells story after story. He's a great storyteller, and he talks about how he was indirectly named after Humphrey Bogart, how and why he became an actor. He talks about his relationship with Chris Nolan, which The Prestige is one of my all-time favorite movies, but he talks about educating Rita and countless other stories. I could have sat there and listened for a lot longer. It was a great evening, and I really did enjoy it.
I got a script one day, and I read it, and I sent it back to the producer, and I said, the part's too small, I don't want to do the movie. And he sent the script back to me, and he said, you shouldn't read the lover, you should read the father. And I was about 57, you know, and I went in the bathroom, and I looked at my face, and I thought, he's right, I'm not the lover, I'm the father. My roles have changed over the I'm now, for the last 2 years, I've been a grandfather, which is absolutely great, you know. What happens is you change. You suddenly change from being a movie star, and what happened to me was I became a leading actor or character man. The main thing, it's a bit of a demotion, really, because as a character man or leading actor, you usually get much smaller motorhome and not as much money. You also don't get the girl, but what you do get is some very, very good parts. I fled. I fled eventually. I lived in Beverly Hills for 8 years because the government put the tax up to 82%. And I said, well, I'm not working, I don't work for the government, you know. I work for me, you know. And so I left it and I came to America. I did Alfie. You know what happened with Alfie? I did Alfie and it came out in England. It was a big success and then it disappeared. And then about 6 months later, the director rang me and said, I want to do some 120 loops. Meaning redo the dialogue. I said, what for? He said, it's going to America and they don't know what you're talking about. Because I had a thick country accent in the book. I had to slow it down, especially because companies talk very quickly.
When I watched Alfie, I interviewed you a number of years ago, and watched Alfie again. It was just amazing as a snapshot, as a sort of a sociological snapshot of London and the character and the sexual revolution and the language. You know, they redid Alfie, wasn't nearly as successful, obviously.
Yeah, Jude redid Alfie.
Yeah, you can't do that. Call them women birds, all that.
Yeah, we always called the women birds and all that. I always remember the first time I met Sean Connery. I went to a party. They used to have. No one had any money, so we'd have a party on a Saturday night, and they'd say, bring a bottle and a bird. We'd bring a bottle of wine and a girl. So I didn't have enough money for a bottle of wine, so I brought 2 birds. And they were both very beautiful. And Sean, this is how I met Sean. Sean was in South Pacific, he was in the chorus, because Josh Logan had gone out and found a load of big weightlifters to beat the push. You had to sing There's Nothing Like a Dame and all that, you know. And Sean was Mr. Edinburgh. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was down in England for Mr. United Kingdom, and he came in on the Saturday night, the first Saturday night of South Pacific. He saw me with these 2 girls, and he became my new best friend. Chris is so secretive. You know, you say, I'm going to do the Dark Knight suit. He said, you shouldn't have told anyone that.
Do you have a script?
Eh?
Do you have a script?
No. Sent me a script, he said, I'll bring it round. And about half an hour later, he was at the front door with the script. So I said, thank you very much, script. And he said, well, no, I want you to read it now. So I said, all right. So my wife brought him in, and I read it. And he had a cup of tea with my missus, and I read it. I said, oh, I'll do it, Chris. And he took the script away. I only worked for 3 days on this section. I did 2 days in London with Leonardo and sent him off into his dreams. And then I came to Los Angeles airport and then welcomed him back. He was saying to me, what was the picture about? I said, I don't know, I wasn't there.
Well, what do you think of 3D, this 3D mania, the movies? I mean, you're such an actor.
I don't think it's going to last. Well, because you're wearing the glasses, and I got glasses, and I wear the glasses on top of the glasses. And I don't know, it's very interesting. But for instance, Chris Nolan said the next Batman today, he did an article in the paper, so I can tell you, it's not a secret. But he'll bring me up tomorrow and say, you told the people about it, and I'll say, it's in the paper, you said it. He said he's not doing the next one in 3D.
The next Batman?
Yeah.
No. And do they...
But he does it in what's that other one, the big screen? Yeah.
IMAX, yeah.
Yeah, IMAX. And that's a nightmare, because the camera weighs a ton. They bring this camera in. It looks like a refrigerator. So you have to act around it, but they can't do it.
Well, you were a leading man.
I was a leading, the reason I became a leading man is because the writers came and started writing working class leading parts in England. Because there was always a class-based system, which you don't get me started on that, otherwise I'll be here too long. I'll just cut it very briefly. For instance, I came obviously from a very rough group of guys, and we used to watch British films and see guys playing us, and we always thought it was a big laugh, different reaction. They're all a bit sissy, And they were playing these gangsters and stuff in the boots, and we used to laugh like hell at them. And I got this bee in my bonnet about becoming an actor, and what did you go to be a movie star? I just wanted to put the record straight of how we were, because we were either portrayed as absolute scum, or morons, or servants, or cloth-touching, and we were none of those things. We only watched American war movies, my God, because Americans made war movies about enlisted men. All British war movies were about officers. You ever thought of that? If you were a scumbag from the Elephant Castle like me, you thought you wouldn't. Because I would say I'm going to become an actor. And everybody said, well, your accent and your voice, and your look to be an actor. I said, yeah. And people said, they don't get ideas about your station.
Really?
I said, there ain't no stations, it's just a track, but I'm going straight. And Charlie, is that you? He said, not right, it's John Brewster. He said, yes, I'm sure it's John. And I said, well, that's fantastic. He said, I have a script I want you to do. The Man Who Would Be King, he said, from the cabinet. Could you come and see me? I said, yeah. I said, it's fantastic. It's a Saturday morning. I said, well, when would you like me to come and see you, Mr. Houston? He said, well, now, he said. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in the bar next door. The great thing to me is I loved Humphrey Bogart. He was my favourite actor of all of them, really. I'm even named after Humphrey Bogart in a funny way, because my real name is Maurice Micklewhite, because it's not a real murder style doing all and I changed it to Michael White, and I got a job in London. I had to join Equity, and then my agent, I was in Leicester Square on the phone every day saying to my agent, have I got a job? And Leicester Square is like Broadway here, and with all the cinemas and theatres. And this evening I got a job. She said, you've got a job, you've got to join the trade union, Equity, she said. And I was called Michael White. She said, you can't call yourself Michael White. You call yourself Michael, but not White. I need another surname, because there's a Michael White already in the union. And I was thinking of it, and I looked, and then through the trees I could see Humphrey Bogart in the Caine union. And I went, Caine. She said, how do you spell it? I went, see? So I became Michael Caine. And I thought if I'd have gone round to the Leicester Square Theatre, I'd have been Michael 101 down there. There was a big charity show in LA, and there was one of those things where you ask movie stars or someone to do something a bit undignified, and you give a load of money to charity. And this evening, one of the people, very rich person in the audience, he said, I'd give $50,000 for Duke Wayne, who was there, John Wayne, for Duke Wayne to stand up and read this. And he gave the girl, and Duke Wayne came on, and it was the opening soliloquy of Hamlet. And so Duke Wayne went to be and this is true. That's true. I couldn't make it up. So he goes, to be or not to be? That is the question. Whether, who wrote this shit? Was educating Rita. And the reason for that is I am some sort of really a juvenile delinquent from the projects, you call them in these council estates. So I came from that, a real juvenile delinquent in a council, in the projects. And I am here playing a professor of literature. And I watched it, and I saw a professor of literature, and I never saw me. And that, for me, was my ideal of film acting. My ideal of film acting is if you're sitting watching me in a movie and you turn to your companion and say, isn't Michael Caine a wonderful actor? Then I've failed. You shouldn't be watching the actor, you should be watching the character. And educating Rita was that. And I played an English professor in that, and I put on a lot of weight and had a beard, sort of similar to the disease. Unfortunately, this bit isn't deliberate, this is. And I played a professor of literature, and in it I'm an alcoholic. And we're doing we shot in Trinity College in Dublin when they were on holiday. We're just about to do the first shot. And I saw this guy coming towards me, and he had a big fat stomach, but a beard. And he was carrying a case of red wine. And I said to him, are you the professor of literature? And he said, yes. Oh my God, I've not even started.